So, you're an older man, maybe in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. You've lived some life. You've seen things, built things. Maybe you've raised a family, chased dreams, buried some, and weathered a few storms. You've got history, and not just the kind that fades with time. The kind that shapes you. And then she shows up. A younger woman. Vibrant, full of fire, a little wild, a little mysterious, and somehow she notices you. Not with polite smiles or surface-level small talk. No, this feels different, real. She's giving you something you haven't felt in a long time. Attention, eye contact, genuine curiosity. Her laughter is effortless, her energy intoxicating. And just like that, something stirs. Something wakes up inside you. Something you thought had long gone quiet. It's flattering, it's thrilling, it's electric. But right here is where most men fall. Because when an older man feels that surge of attention from a younger woman, something subtle and dangerous can happen. He forgets who is. He forgets what he spent a lifetime becoming. He forgets that he's already complete. The years, the scars, the lessons, the strength. That's his power. But in the rush of feeling sin again, he starts to shrink. He softens his edge, tries to squeeze into her world. He trades his crown for her approval. And the moment that happens, the moment he starts bending, the dynamic flips. She no longer sees a man. She sees just another guy trying too hard, chasing her vibe, looking for validation. And with that, the attraction dies. Now hear me, This isn't judgment. This is clarity. This is about protecting something more important than her attention, your self-respect, your center. This isn't just dating advice. This is life strategy. So, if you've ever felt off balance, confused, or pulled into a younger woman's orbit on Lito, feel like you lost yourself somewhere along the way, this is your wake-up call. Let's fix that, not by doing more, but by doing less. Rule 1, don't try to be her age. You're not her peer, and that's not a weakness. It's your age. But own up the most common mistakes older men make. They try to collapse that age gap by pretending it's not there. They start dressing younger, talking younger, learning Gen Z slang, faking interest in TikTok trends, or they don't actually care about. Why? Because they think it'll build connection. But in reality, it kills attraction. The moment you try to match her, you stop being grounded, seasoned man and become just another boy seeking her attention. Trust him, she feels it. She might not say anything, but women, especially younger ones, have a sixth sense for authenticity. When your vibe shifts into performance mode, she senses the insecurity beneath it. Here's the truth. Your age is not a liability. It's your leverage. You've lived, you've failed, you've risen. That's depth she hasn't touched yet. And that presence, that calm, centered strength, that's what draws her in. Want an example? She says, "Oh my God, I love this 23-year-old in." She gives the best relationship advice. You don't fake a smile or pretend you'll follow her. You lean back, relaxed, and I don't really follow that stuff. I prefer conversations that don't vanish in 24 hours. onesentence.com.unbothered. You didn't insult her. You didn't try to play along. You simply held your frame. That's not arrogance. That's magnetism. Because the moment you stop trying to be relatable, you become irresistible. Rule 2, don't become her emotional sponge. This one sneaks up on you. She starts opening up about her ex, her absent father, her mental health, her search for identity. And because you're older, more grounded, emotionally interlinked, you listen. Of course do. It feels like connection, like trust, like she sees you as a safe space. But here's the danger. Slowly, you slip from being the man she was drawn to, into being her therapist, her savior, her emotional support system. And when that happens, you go from being a mystery she's drawn to a comfort she unloads him. And once she's offloaded, she leaves because what she needed wasn't saving. What she craved was your steadiness, your leadership, your emotional boundaries. Let her share, yes. Be Akam presence, yes, but don't absorb her shells. Don't become the place where heron-heeled pain parks itself. That's not attraction, that's codependency. There's more to say, but we'll pause here. Just know this. The power is never in chasing a world, it's in owning yours. You are not here to impress her. You're here to embody everything life has taught you and let her rise to your level, not the other way around. And when you do that, she won't just see a man. She feels something she doesn't feel around boys. Respect, desire, and maybe, just maybe, something real. You think maybe she sees something in you that boys her age don't have: maturity, depth, presence. But slowly, without noticing, you start buying the man she's drawn to and become her therapist. Her late-night crisis line, her emotional sponge. She vents at midnight, spirals at 2 a.m., and you always pick up because you think that means you're connecting. You believe if I'm the only one who understands her, she'll choose me, but she won't because of that's not intimacy. It's emotional outsourcing. You're not her safe place, you're her safety net. And while you give her stability, she stops feeling attraction. Because now you're her support system, not her man. That's not love, that's convenience. Here's the harsh truth. If you confuse emotional karatang with romantic connection, you'll end up in the friend zone wearing a suit that looks like love, while Shekari's over the guy who ghosted her, then disappears. When she's happy again, you're not her partner. You're her reset button, but a stoic man. He doesn't evento chaos to feel needed. He doesn't play savior. He doesn't carry burdens that don't belong to him. He leads with calm. He holds space without losing himself. He offers presence, not prescriptions. Here's what that looks like. She calls crying, spiraling, venting. Old you would panic. With, "Are you okay? What can I do?" But the grounded you says that sounds like a lot. I hope you give yourself space to figure it out. That's it. No fixing, no chasing, no emotion. That one line tells here you're present, but untouchable. You're a calm, because your peace is your standard. And that is what makes her pause. Not because she can pull you in, but because she can't. Rule 3. Don't chase her validation. This one stings. Even strong men fall for it. It doesn't start with desperation. It starts with being nice. You comply Mantha more than she earns. You wait too long for her replies. You agree with things you don't believe. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You soften your edges to keep her attention. You call it, but what you're really doing is surrendering your center. Andwin, you need her validation. You stop being a man and become a performer, not leading, pleasing, no longer the mountain, now the moon, orbiting her emotions, desperate for gravity. And younger women especially don't respect performers. They test them, pull back, delay replies, flirt with other men, just to see if you'll chase. That's not attraction, that's erosion. Real attraction happens when you stay rooted. As Marcus Aurelius said, we all love ourselves more than other people, yet care more about their opinion than Aaron. Flip that dot. Practical check. She takes 6 hours to reply. What do? You don't double text. You don't send memes. You don't post a story hoping she catches it. You live, you build, you stay centered. If she comes back, great. If she doesn't, better. Because either way you didn't compromise your edge. Story time. Tom's wake-up call. Tom's 48, divorced, built his own business. Hemit's at 28, smart, magnetic. At first, sparks fly. But slowly, he starts adjusting, planning bigger dates, complimenting too much, avoiding real opinions, smoothing himself down, just to keep her piece by piece. He rewrites who is, and she starts pulling away. Less interest, less respect, less spark, until she finally says, I just don't feel that connection anymore. But what she really meant was, you lost your edge. Here's the twist. Tom didn't beg, he didn't chase. He rebuilt, trained harder, expanded his business, reconnected with his mission. He stopped performing and started leading. 3 months later, she reached out again, but no, he wasn't trying to win her. He went seeking her energy. And that shift, she felt it immediately. Rule 4. Don't try to impress her. Lead instead. Let this sink in. You are neither to impress her. That one truth, if you really understand it, will save your years of heartache, rejection, and emotional fatigue. But most older men forget, because everything in modern dating tells you the opposite. Stop chasing validation. Stop becoming what you think she wants. Stand firm. Lead with clarity. Protect your peace, and let the right woman rise to meet you, trying to impress her. Wrong move. Flashy dinners, clever texts, shifting your voice just to score a second date. You're asking, what can I do to mark a heart like me? But that's the wrong question. The right one is, am I leading with strength or dancing for approval? When you're with a younger woman, trying to impress isn't just a necessary, it's self-sabotage. Thiskond, you stop leading and start performing. You give away your power. You put her on the throne and mark yourself the contestant. That shirt you out to impress her. That restaurant you Googled. That compliment you rewrote 5 times. She may not see it logically, but she feels it energetically. And that energy says, I hope this works. That's not attractive. That's insecure. Leadership isn't performance. It's not dominance. No arrogance. It's direction. It's grounded presence. And for a woman raised in showers, digital noise, flaky guys, constant distractions, that kind of stillness is magnetic. So when she says, where do you want to go? Don't say whatever you want. You say, let's try this spot. You'll like it. You lead not to control, but to show Yaukna where you're going with or with her. Most older men talk to impress their job, their car, their travels, their stock portfolio. But the grounded man, he talks to connect. He listens. He's not trying to win her over. He's trying to see who she really is. And she starts leaning in. Not because you're a flushy, but because you're real. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thoughtfulish and stupid. Translation, stop performing for applause. Start living by principle. You don't need to be impressed. And here's a hard truth. Stop projecting. You just met her. She's CEOing. She's stunning. She's CEOing interest. And your mind jumps ahead. Vacations, dinner parties, maybe even a wedding. But slow down, you're not seeing her. You're seeing your fantasy of her. And when that fantasy takes savor, you stop paying attention. You miss red flags. You justify what doesn't feel right. Why? Because you're high on hope. But hope without observation led straight to delusion. You tell yourself, she just needs time. She'll grow out of it. We'll work through it. But she never agreed to be your forever. She was just getting to know you. And no, she feels the weight of your dream sand, the suffocation that comes with them. Stoicism teaches, before reaching for something, ask yourself, what is it really? Dating isn't fantasy. Data collection. You're not planning a future. You're watching her present. How does she handle disappointment, conflict, accountability? Because the attraction is easy. Compatibility is tested, and character. It always shows if you're paying attention. Here's Thestory of Dean, 52, smart, successful, meets a 26-year-old firecracker. She's wild, addictive, magnetic. 2 weeks in, he's telling his friends she might bait one. He clears his schedule, bends his life for her, but she flakes, ghosts, inconsistent. Dean ignores it because he's not seeing her. He's seeing the fantasy. 3 months later, she disappears without a word, and Dean is crushed. But not because he lost her, because he lost Thedrim. He wasn't grieving a woman. He was grieving an illusion. Lesson: don't project. Don't fantasize. Observe. Because if her patterns don't match your values, her potential won't save the relationship. Rule 6. Never be her backup plan. This one cuts deep, but it's necessary. Sometimes you're not her first choice. You're her fallback, her emotional crutch. The guy she texts when she's bored. The one she flirts with when no one else is giving her attention. The safe space she runs Tohan. The man she really wants to sap as. You think she's scoozing you. Boot. She's using you to fill a gap. You tell yourself she's just figuring things out or she needs time. But deep down, you know, if you were Theon, she wouldn't hesitate. And this is what Stoicism teaches. A man never stays where he isn't valued. You can't be Thegi she leans on when it's convenient, and expects to wait in silence when it's not. Here's a story. Paul, 47, met a 26-year-old through friends. They had chemistry, laughter, late-night texts, sparks. But she never fully committed. She'd ghost, then come back crying. She'd talk about other guys, and Paul, he always picked up. He thought, if I'm patient enough, she realized I'm Theon, but she didn't see a man to love. She saw a man to lean on. One day she said, "You're like my safe place," and thoughts when it hit him. He wasn't her future. He was her fallback. So he walked away. And months later, she came back. But by then, he was different. He went there to rescue her. He wasn't there to entertain her drama. He had become a standard, not a safety net, because real masculine energy doesn't beg for a place. It creates gravity. It doesn't say, pick me. It says, understand what it costs to lose me. Rule 7. Never trade your mission for a woman. This is where powerful men fall. Not when she rejects you, not when she plays her to get, but when you start to feel something reland, you begin to drift. You skip the gym, you postpone the call, you reschedule your grind to match her mood. You text more and create less. And it doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like love, like commitment, like something worth bending for. But it's not love, it's self-betrayal. You're trading your edge for access. You're stepping off your mission for her. And when that happens, something shifts in her. She stops feeling pulled. She stops feeling safe. She starts pulling away. Because the truth, a woman doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to witness it. She wants to be invited into a life that's already in motion, not become there as you pause it. Case in point, Jordan, 45, CEO, built his company from scratch. Met a 26-year-old artist, creative, wild, intoxicating. He was Alan Fast. He trips, stopped investing, rebuilt his mornings around her sleep schedule. Put dreams on hold Beckers. Things were getting serious from outside. Looked romantic. On thine side, he was drifting. She felt it. She didn't say it, but she felt it. Anthon, she ghosted him quietly, without drama, because the attraction didn't. Loudly, he faded the moment he stepped off his path. Marcus Aurelius said, "Amon's worth is no greater than his." So if you abandon your mission for comfort, you don't just lose her, you lose yourself. Never forget. A man on fire never runs out of options, but the man who puts out his flame for a woman, he runs out of himself. Wake up early, build your empire, train your body, speak your truth, even if it rattles her. Let her feel the gravity of a man who doesn't bend for affection. Rule 8. Beatty rock, not the puppet. Let's be clear, she doesn't want you to fold. Even when she's emotional, even when she pulls away, even when she tests you with sarcasm, silence, or mood swings, what she's really doing, she's asking, are you solid, or do you break? If you chase flinch, or shapeshift, to please her feelings, you're not a man. You're a puppet. And no woman, especially not a younger one, falls for a puppet. She might say, you're too stoic, too incredible, too emotionally universal, but deep down, that stillness, that frame is what makes her feel safe. She doesn't want to move you. She wants to be moved by your grounded presence. Here's what that looks like. Drew, mid-50s, grounded, sharp, recently divorced, met a 25-year-old. Things were smooth and natal. The tests came. She flirted with her guys. She poked. She provoked. Why? To see if he would crack. To see if his power was real or performative. Andrew. He didn't chase. He didn't flinch. He stood firm. Because a rock doesn't intrigues to the weather. It remains. And that's the energy women fall in love with. Not the man who bends, but the man who leads. The guys in front of him started throwing jabs, criticizing his clothes, laughing, saying stuff like, you'd be way hotter if you drink. Old Drew, he would have caved, bought new jeans, cracked a joke, too smooth, the tension, tried to blend in. But this Drew, he just smiled, calm, that's funny. I like the way I move, no defense, no panic, no performance, head and shift. He stood still, and worth a pound. 2 days later, she asked to see him again, not because he gave in, but because he didn't. That's when it clicked for her. This man doesn't dance for me, he stands for himself. And that is where trust begins, because her rest truth. Women don't trust the men they can control. They trust the men who stand firm with principle. That's stoicism.com/composed.commanding. Not reactive, not emotional, not chasing her approval. That's the man who lingers in her mind. Rule 9. Stop buying her time. Start commanding it. This one might sting, but you need to whore it. You don't buy a woman's attention, not the kind that sticks, not the kind that's real. You command it, but a lot of older men still fall for the same trap. If I offer enough money, comfort, effort, she'll stay. So they overdo it. Fancy dinners, endless compliments, emotional support sessions she didn't earn. Texting with no reply, still holding on. But what does that energy say to her? It whispers, I'm not a now. I have to earn you. And when she feels that, she might stay. But not from desire, from convenience. Bother's the thing. A younger woman doesn't want a sponsor. She wants a signal that says, your time, your attention, your presence, they're not cheap. They're not for sale. They're something she has to rise to meet. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be, but be one. Same rule applies. Here, stop trying to convince her you're valuable. Just be valuable. Let me tell you about Dan. Dan's 50, met a 27-year-old firecracker at a conference. High energy, used to being chased, used to being bought. He didn't beg. He didn't chase. Don made plans. Held the line, stayed silent when replies came slow. She tested him, delayed responses, sarcasm, distance. But Don, unbothered, present, unavailable to drama. And then it shifted. She started chasing him, not because he gave more, but because he gave less with purpose. The lesson: you didn't need to impress her. You need to impress upon her what she lose if she fumbles. Rule 10. Let her earn your death. You've lived. You've seen life grin slowly, break hard, rebuild quietly. You've been cracked open, back together. Now you walk with something younger men can't fake. Depth, hard won, wisdom, scars behind still eyes. A silence that says of everything, that's power. But here's the trap. Most older men give it away fast, blindly to women who haven't earned, don't know what to do with it. You meet a younger woman. She's magnetic, curious, intense, and you begin to spill your regrets, your beliefs, your wounds, thinking, this will show her I'm different. But that's not connection. That's exposure. And often, it doesn't pull her closer. It overwhelms her. Always, it dulls the intrigue. Because a true depth isn't always attractive, tough, unprepared. It's heavy. It's real, ... And real is rare, rare enough to be earned. You don't owe her your story, not on the first date. Not because she's beautiful, not because she asks. She must prove her emotional redinestral consistency, maturity, and grace. Pressure, deep questions don't always mean deep answers are deserved. Let her prove she's worthy of your, because your truth is a temple, not a vending machine. Want to see what it looks like? Mark, 53, divorced, solid. She was 29, an artist, passionate, restless. On their early dates, she dove in fast. What's your biggest heartbreak? Do you believe in soulmates? Have you ever cried in front of someone? Mark didn't bite, not because he was cold, but because he was watching. He smiled, redirected, and asked her, how do you handle disappointment? What do you do when control slips through your fingers? Hadn't, give her a story. He gave her a minute. Weeks passed, she kept showing up, consistent, curious, steady. That's when Mark finally opened up. And when headed, it landed because she'd earned it. That's the difference between a man who leaks his soul to any soft voice and Amen, who guards his kingdom until Sumian Epirophs, they can stand inside it. Seneca said, as is a tale, so is life, not how long it is, but how good. Same goes for connection. It's not how fast you got deep, it's how real it feels when you're there. You're not guarded, you are grounded. You don't punish, you filter. You're not cold, you're commanding. You didn't give away your light like a hallway lamp. You let her earn it one step at a time. Final thoughts. From puppet to pillarlays. Be honest. If you're still listening, you're not here for tricks. You're here because something deeper is calling. You're done performing, done chasing. You're ready to lead, to embody, to hold Thedum line. So here's your next move. Lead with calm. Move with purpose. Protect your depth like sacred ground. Be still. Be silent. Be undeniable. Because the moment you stop trying to impress her, you become the experience never saw coming. Comment below. Lead from center. If you're donor performing and ready to live, rooted in truth, subscribe for mindset, masculinity, and mental clarity. And if you're ready to go deeper with exclusive content, Stoic breakdowns, and a brotherhood of grounded men's, subscribe to Dark Psychology. This isn't about chasing her. This is about building you. And that's the kind of mano one forgets.